did get one assumption right about Gunther versus AJ Styles, so we'll see what that was. We'll also check out what's happening with Stephanie, several injuries, and much more. Starting things off with Gunther versus AJ Styles. This was a feud that technically started just seconds after Gunther's first Raw appearance after making John Cena tap out. Gunther went out there on Raw that night and threw dirt all over John Cena's name and legacy, and it was AJ Styles who was there leaning on the car outside, waiting to confront Gunther about those remarks about John Cena. And in the weeks since then, the issues between Gunther and AJ Styles have only escalated more and more. And when things got really out of control, a date was set for both of them to meet in the middle of the ring for the first time ever, and that took place on January 12th. Fans predicted that this first ever big match between Gunther and AJ Styles would include a screwy and controversial finish to extend the feud, and that's exactly what happened. AJ Styles had Gunther locked in the submission, and Gunther did tap, which made AJ release the hold and begin to celebrate. But the referee never saw the tap, so he never made the call for the bell. Gunther then capitalizes on the moment and defeats AJ Styles for the win. And then the replay showed exactly what happened. Gunther tapped on AJ's body, but completely out of the field of view of the referee. So the referee never saw the tap, but AJ saw it and felt it, so that's why he let go of the hold. It's the controversial finish that fans were expecting that will now continue this feud and storyline. Gunther won, but he did it in a slimy way full of cheating. So you just know that there's going to be a rematch on the way. Fans are definitely looking at this as another potential long-term feud, so maybe they get a rematch at the Royal Rumble, but a lot of fans are even expecting to see Gunther versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 42. And with the narrative of Gunther being the career killer, and AJ already making it known that he's retiring this year, fans are also suspicious if AJ would put his career on the line for one of those future matchups with Gunther. They appear to be going all in on this career killer narrative for Gunther, so he does have a strong chance to retire AJ Styles. Gunther retired John Cena and Goldberg in 2025, and he's rumored to retire AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar in 2026. It's a cool narrative and direction, but it's something that you do have to be careful with because you don't want to overdo it, and you don't want to cause fan fatigue through all those repetitive Gunther retirement matchups. If Gunther is going to win all the time when it's someone's final match, it does take an element out of the match, makes the winner more predictable. So it's a good narrative and character story, but you have to be very careful with it in order to keep it interesting and not to the point where fans just grow tired of Gunther beating everyone in retirement matches. So we'll see how that goes, but for now, definitely expect to see some more matches between Gunther and AJ Styles. As far as a mini update for AJ Styles himself, he recently appeared in TNA for their premiere episode on AMC, and according to reports from Body Slam, it may not be AJ's final appearance in TNA. They claim that there's a strong growing belief that AJ Styles will compete inside the TNA ring in 2026 before his retirement, which is something AJ's not done since he taped a TNA episode from December 2013. So it's been a long time since AJ Styles competed in a TNA ring, but all signs point that that streak is now being broken in 2026. So that'll be something else to watch out for this year. A new report has come out that has cleared up some confusion with the WrestleMania 42 main event spots. Coming out of the War Games match back in November, WWE was heavily foreshadowing another matchup between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. And according to all the reports a few months ago, that's exactly the Night 2 main event match that was allegedly penciled in. But after Drew McIntyre won the WWE title during the 3 Stages of Hell match, that caused a little bit of a head-scratching moment since WWE was already heavily leaning into Roman vs. Cody 3. So that made fans fearful of Drew's title reign, wondering if it would be a short reign, and that Cody would get the title back in time to set up the 3rd showdown with Roman. That's kind of been everyone's biggest fear for Drew's current title reign. But according to new reports, Cody vs. Roman 3 is allegedly fully off the table and scrapped for WrestleMania 42. The reason the report gave that was that they allegedly feared that having the WrestleMania Night 2 main event for 3 out of the last 4 years would cause fan fatigue. And that's a pretty valid reason. You had fans that were a bit interested in the rubber match between Roman and Cody, but you also had fans that had no interest in a 3rd matchup and thought it was a bit of an overkill. So it looks like their solution was to scrap the match for the time being and go in another direction. That doesn't mean Roman vs. Cody 3 is off the table forever. Maybe they'll revisit it more down the line, but as of WrestleMania 42 goes, that match appears to be off the card. So what match will take its spot? Well, reports are now discussing either another Drew versus Cody matchup or a potential triple threat between Jacob, Drew, and Cody. A version of those matchups right there could be the Night 2 new main event for WrestleMania 42. The only odd man out would be Roman Reigns. He went from having a potential undisputed title match in the main event at WrestleMania to now having no idea what his WrestleMania direction will be. So they appear to have new plans in place for the WWE title at WrestleMania 42, but now they need a new program for Roman Reigns since the Cody match is no longer happening. There's no rumors and reports about what those new plans are for Roman Reigns, but they'll have to make a decision soon because the road to WrestleMania does go by pretty quickly. So maybe they can have him come after the World Heavyweight title on Raw. A good thing about that moment of Roman saying that those world titles would look better over his shoulders is that it was left open-ended. He never really pointed out who he was directly talking to. So since Cody's match fell through, maybe Roman comes back to CM Punk and makes it clear he was talking about the world title. Roman is arguably the biggest name in the company, and you're talking about WrestleMania here. So it can't just be a random throwaway match for Roman on this card. It has to be a high-profile match, and maybe they throw him into the mix with the world title. So that is a massive pivot that just happened right there that's changing the whole main event scene of WrestleMania 42. And like we said last week when Drew won the title, that shakeup was absolutely desperately needed. So it's an exciting pivot and a very refreshing one as well. We'll just have to see where all the pieces now fall for all these superstars. There's quite a lot of injuries happening right now to very important superstars. So what's happening there? The biggest one is absolutely Stephanie and her lower leg injury. When Stephanie came out in that walking boot after Raquel attacked her, fans questioned if it was a real injury or was just an angle that they were doing for the story. Well, it turns out it's a real injury for Stephanie. She recently shared some looks at her ankle that was extremely dark and bruised, so it is a real injury for her. But the bright side is that it's nothing serious, and WWE is allowing her to keep the women's world title, so that is a good sign that it's a short-term injury. The other one big injury is Dominic Mysterio, who went down with a shoulder injury in mid-December. As a reigning double champion, he has not been seen ever since. Dominic already missed a month of time, but the fact that WWE did not strip him of his titles either is a good sign that he's expected back soon. Reports originally said Dominic would be back in time for the Royal Rumble, so he definitely survived what could have been a very scary shoulder injury there. And the last one is Rey Mysterio. Rey just returned a few weeks back from a groin injury that made him miss most of 2025, but fans noticed he was already missing from Raw this week. Reports claim that it's a very minor injury for Rey as well, and how he will be back soon. So 3 top stars that all avoided more serious injuries and should all be back pretty quickly. But what are your thoughts on today's story? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.